Hi everyone. So I'm back and it's Sunday, November 5th, and I wanted to do a lot of readings today. I feel like I have so many questions, and every day there's news and there's all these people involved. So I'll try to like do as many readings as I possibly can because now there's all these news and I feel like I want to find out more about what's going on with this news, especially about Saudi Arabia and knowing that Jared Kushner went to Saudi Arabia, and then a few days before, there's a regime change and people are arrested or whatever. So I don't know what the deal is. I'd like to know more if I could. And there's all of these people that I feel like I want to find out more about. Okay, so I'm going to start with KellyAnne Conway. So KellyAnne Conway is one of those characters we've been hearing about. Well, we've been watching her for a while. And I just wanted to find out more about her and what her role has been. So I did the cards earlier today for her, and I feel like the cards don't tell me a lot that's new, but it's funny after this story I see here, I feel like I have more respect for her, just because what's starting to become clear is that all these people in the Trump cabinet, White House, whatever, the ones that have a public interface are basically actors. Like um, they have every one of them has a very different role than they what they show us. And I think our mistake is to assume that this isn't a joke, right? Like we make the mistake of understand seeing them as like obviously Kellyanne is lying when she goes on TV, but to her that's a strategy, right? Like, and we like, oh my god, I can't believe she goes on TV and she talks like such bullshit. But to her, that's a strategy, right? Like in a way, what I'm seeing here is that actually she seems to be I don't want. It's like a strange thing to say, but I feel like she's a gifted strategist, or she has um, the ability to see things more clinically than the others do, and that she's loyal to the corrupt group of people. So I feel like, in a way, I have a more complete picture of what she is and what she does. And I feel like the part that she plays on TV is only a small percentage of what she's like. You know how everybody has talents, and sometimes you whatever her job is on a day is very different from something she does, I don't know, a few hours a week or something. And I feel like that's what she does when she goes on TV and she talks all of that. That's not really her job. That's just one of the things she does. And I feel like we're almost like naive to think that we expect them to be honest or tell the truth. What I'm seeing here is that there's a very clean cut understanding that they have a strategy and that their strategy is lying. And so, that's it's corruption. So it's like, how are we going to get this done? And I feel like that's part of it. It's not that they're like, oh, we go on TV and we lie. Like, it's like there's a whole strategy behind it. It's not really like, oh, that person just lies all the time. Or like, it's not her job to go on TV and lie. That's just one of the things she does. Okay. And I'll just get into the reading. But basically, I have the sense that out of everybody who works there, she has a lot of foresight, or she has I don't want to say that she's psychic, but I feel like she can see. It's almost like I feel like I see an eagle when I think of her. She can see things from above in a ways that others can't. And I feel like right now she's really, really worried. And almost like she's the one person who's like, guys, there's something wrong. Something's going to change. So I feel like that's the reading. Okay, so I'll just go over quickly because again, I want to do more reading, so I just want to get started. Okay, so this is Ace of Swords, and it's a card of victory usually, or like a fresh new start, or like clarity of a mind, clarity of ideas. And interestingly enough, it's paired with the clouds, which is a card of lack of clarity and problems, like in the sense of like a cloud is passing. So I feel like what it is saying is that it's clear that she can see, she has a clarity about the problems that are happening. Okay. And the interesting thing is that I'll just show the two of these together. This is right underneath the house. So if you read this literally, it's like problems in the house. Obviously, we know that this is the White House, and there's somebody who can't sleep, like literally. So this card on the upright position is like worry. Like sometimes you're worried, like you're worried about things that are sometimes just not there, like obsessive worrying. But if it's upside down, actually it gets worse. It's like it gets to the point where you really can't sleep, and it's like you know something's coming. So I feel like that's what's happening with her. She's aware of all the problems. She can't sleep, or like she knows what's coming, and it's not good. And it's not like I'm saying she went off and alerted everybody, but I feel like out of the people that surround her, she seems to be somebody who has their feet on the ground. Okay, and I know that she's married to someone who is apparently an influential conservative lawyer. I don't know anything about him, but I remember reading that. So that's possible that they understand what some things that others probably don't. Okay, so that's the center. So at the beginning, and it's funny that I feel like this reading is pretty very clear and very clean in a way. Okay, so the beginning is like work opportunity, like focusing on one project. Okay, like really improving your skills, or basically working on one project. An opportunity, like an opportunity to work on one project. And what is the project? So there's justice overturned. So it's like something illegal. Okay, illegal change. So the project that she's working on is like this illegal change, pursuing some sort of like illegal overturn. And you could feel like so because this is the beginning, this kind of lays the ground for everything that comes after. So I feel like it's important, and in a way I feel like this is the overall strategy. That's what's showing me. Okay, it's almost like she's the MBA in the group or something like that. So this is like right after comes the lilies, and the lilies is a card for the older man. Okay, or something that lasts a long time, older man. And this is a card of a poverty, lack of money problems. But because it's upside down, it means um, getting away from poverty, getting away from money problems. So there's an older man who wants to get away from money problems. And so this is the moon card. And the moon card is a card about like revelry, creativity, but at night, like sometimes it's like when you can't see what's really happening, like lack of light, the opposite of the sun. But sometimes it's positive because it means sensitivity and creativity, but it's upside down. So that means a person who's, I see it as like madness, like a person who's crazy. Okay, like you can't, it's like you can never get away from the fantasy. Like it's always there. It's like you're always like living in this alternative reality, right? And who's the person here? Okay, oh, it's not a person. So it's a choice. Oh, okay. So, okay, let's organize all this together. So putting it all together. So there's an older man who wants to get out of money problems. He's crazy, and he made a choice. Okay. So you could also think that she made a choice, or because the reading is about KellyAnne, then in a way she helped make this choice about this older man. Okay, she's looking at it, it's like, well, there's an older man, and he needed to make a choice that could improve his financial problems. Okay, and from there we get to the center, which again is about seeing with clarity the problems in the White House, like seeing the problems that surround the White House with clarity and losing sleep over it. Okay, so right after that, towards the future, or more of the consequences of these beginnings. Okay, we have this card. This is the card of the Pope. I've spoken about that before. I see it as the card of the norms and people who are responsible for the norms. Okay, so it's turned upside down, And I've said this before, and I see, especially in this group of readings, I see the Hierophant upside down. To me, that means group corruption, a corrupt group of people, or people who are together scheming to create oppressive norms. And I said, I think it was a reading yesterday, I spoke about how like it's just that people want, like this group of people want others to conform to a set of oppressive norms. They want everybody to be the same, okay? And then there's an anchor on top of it. And I started to notice, I looked at some of the best readings I've put up here, and I noticed that the anchor showed up a lot. And there's something I haven't thought about, which is that the anchor is like like she put the ideas of this group of people to the ground, right? She is the like anchored them. And in a way, of course, I know that from reading the news that she's very close to the Mercers, and she's very trusted. Like they trust her a lot. So in a way, it's about she's the anchor of the Mercers in the White House. We know that, right? It's not new. And then it's interesting because underneath her you have the crazy older man again. Well, the other, it's like repeats the theme. This is a person who has a lot of emotional tantrums, has like inability to contain his emotions, and it's a child. So it's interesting that the child card has a lot of meanings. It could mean actual child, it could mean new beginnings, and it could mean an immature person. But I feel like in the context of this and the relationship to the anchor card, I feel like it means that she watches over the child for them, for the Mercers. Okay, so in a way, because it was right next to the White House card, I feel like her role is to be the anchor to these ideas. Like I feel like in a way, she doesn't really work for the president. She works for this group of people, okay? And then she's watching this guy who's crazy. Okay, so that's the story here. And then next we have the Knight of Wands, which I don't necessarily think this means sometimes it could mean a person, but because it's KellyAnne, I feel like it's her energy. Like she's charismatic, she wants action, she wants to get things done, and she goes to the public. Now, I've said this before, this could be social media, this could be TV, this could be an area where like when people gather, or people, something collective, community, something like that. So I feel like her energy is to go, how she accomplishes this is like she goes on TV, and this is like pretty interesting card to show up. This is a card of wishes. Like when you see this card in a reading, that means your wish came true, or like you got what you wanted. And it showed up a lot in these readings for when it's upside down, as meaning like spending too much money, you want too much of a good thing, like, right? But just like this, it means, oh, whatever you want, you accomplish. And I guess it's interesting because what comes up on top of it is the card of mice, which is theft uh, and loss, right? So in a way, I feel like she goes on into the public to like public theft from the side. So she goes to the public in a way to lie, right? To create deception, but that's what she really wanted. That was her goal, okay? Because her goal is this like theft or loss or deception or whatever. So if we put it together, this whole first part of the reading, what I feel is that it's like her overview of the situation. It's like, so, there's a lot of, I see, it's also like if I try to, not impersonate her, but be like, what is she seeing? So she's seeing that there's all this trouble, and she can't sleep, she can't get over it, she knows something really bad is going to happen, and it's all started as an opportunity to create some sort of illegal change, a change that would overturn justice. And it's interesting because I remember right after the election, one of the things that they did was, what was it about? I feel like they deleted something about the Department of Justice from the White House website or something. They wanted to overturn the justice, right? They wanted to challenge the Constitution, or to do something unconstitutional. So they were aware of it. Like that's because it's right here. It's like they know exactly what they're doing. It's not coincidental. It's not like, oh, it just happened. Oh, I'm sorry. It's like that was deliberate. Okay. And again, the older man with problems. They choose this crazy man with problems, and I have a feeling what it's saying is that they kind of feel like it's a maybe a dangerous mistake, and I'll show you why. There's a few more cards to show, and then that she's the anchor to this to the group. She's the anchor to the group of corrupt people in the background, and her job in the White House really is to watch over the child, the immature, crazy older man, and that she goes in public and discusses things that are basically lies, okay, like deception and so forth. So so then I pulled out the three more cards to find out about like what happens to her after, or like what's next. And again, I feel like nothing particularly new. Like this card is a card of lovers, so it's like it's a card of love and also a choice, like making a choice. And so turned upside down, it's that either they made the wrong choice or that they were like very indecisive, and then it comes to an end. Okay, so I've said this before. This card shows up for everybody who is in trouble, okay, or in this administration, every single person. But I feel like it's saying that from her perspective, we made the wrong choice. And in a way, the reading is showing that she's very aware of everything that's happening. Like she knows in a way that I feel like the others don't, the danger of the situation for them, okay? And so right after comes the Emperor upside down and the Lady, which of course we've talked about before, which is, tends to always represent Russia. So it's like the Emperor, when it's upside down, this is like a leader, a person of a lot of power. But when it's upside down, it's all the bad qualities associated with leadership, which is like authoritarianism, basically abuse of power in some way, which is obvious, right? Because that's what the president does. And that is Russia. So it's like the president is like a stand-in for Russia, okay? And this card came yesterday too. I love this card. It's like public recognition and victory, winning. So it's like it's like really the moment when the person is recognized as the winner, okay? And a snake. So it repeats something that I saw yesterday that's very, it's like a pattern in these readings. So it's like an end because of the wrong choice. An end of what? An end of the emperor, the authoritarian leader who basically is a stand-in for Russian interests. And this victory that came through deception. Okay, so that's what's saying. It is not telling me, I feel like, what's going to happen to her necessarily. And I don't know if, like, I don't know if she's going to be, we don't know anything about the Mueller investigation, and I feel like she's not really one of the main ones. It's just showing the, like, her role. And I feel like on that alone, it explains a lot to me about what she's doing and how she goes about it and what it means, and how to see things from her perspective. And there was a site there, so it's probably there's going to be some sort of cut. It's hard to tell what exactly, and of course I'll update as soon as news comes up, because I feel like I don't want to do like super extended readings for like every single person unless they look like they're in legal trouble. Okay, so for now that's it for KellyAnne Conway, and I'll move on to the next one. Thanks for watching.